Hello everyone, I'm back with another video, and this time I'm going to be showing you a Wretched Defiler Spectre mini build. I've been having a lot of fun with this build. I just got to level 100 today. I've been playing this build for the past day and 11 hours. And let's just head into a map immediately. Here's the mods, we're gonna look at what it looks like. And once again, I'm just gonna rush through the map. As you can see, these Spectres are really awesome. They have very good clear. You can just shower the entire screen with projectiles. Oh. Taking that. Go take a look at the boss. Build is also very tanky. We can only just stand in everything. Okay, so as you can see, I am playing Wretched Defiler Spectres. These minions, as you saw, are really awesome. The main thing to know is that they are spell-based and they do lightning damage. And because of that, I have opted to use Doriana's prototype to scale their damage because Doriana's prototype is broken. The reason it's special is because of the line at the bottom. Nearby enemies have lightning resistance equal to yours. Combine that with, as you can see over here, we have minus 200% lightning resistance. We are, of course, going to take a lot of damage as lightning. So to counteract that problem, I am using an Eyes of the Great Wolf, where I take 100% of lightning damage from hits is taken as cold damage. This could be fire damage or cold damage. It doesn't matter which. It just needs to be either of those two. I've opted to go for global defenses on the other mod. And of course, I've anointed Charisma. This build also has 75% chance to block attack damage and 78% chance to block spell damage. On top of that, it has about 1573 energy shield regen. Because the second problem that Doriana's prototype builds have is lightning damage over time tends to be very scary. In particular, the Shaper Beam and Mana Siphoner. So to solve that problem of not dying to it, I have a lot of regen combined with Leper Shade, which makes the damage over time cuts the damage over time in half. And of course, I have Bone Barrier. 1% of damage dealt by your minions is leached to useless life, combined with Ghost Reaver so that Life Leech becomes Energy Leech, with the Leech Mastery of 5% of Leech is instant. All of these three together means that I basically do not care about Mana Siphoner or the Shaper Beam. They do basically nothing. So I've gone for, once again, Mindless Aggression, Bone Barrier, Mr. Sacrifice, and the Catarina Bloodline Umbral Army, which gives me 10% increased defenses per Great Spectre. On top of that, I'm using 2 large cluster jewels, which have with Aim Shield, Minion attack and cast speed, regeneration, and 35% increased effect. I'm using a small cluster jewel with Enduring Composure to get endurance charges, and I'm using 2 small cluster jewels with regen, Energy Shield, 35% increased effect, giving me a lot of reservation, the more life regen. Of course, we are CI in this build, and I am once again using Supreme Ostentation. That way I can tattoo my entire tree, and I don't have to worry about attributes anywhere else on my gear, because this build requires a lot of strength, intelligence, and dexterity. So it's extremely efficient to just use Supreme Ostentation. I decided to go for the Elegant Hubris in this spot. Once again, there are some good ones in this slot, and there are some good ones in this socket, but I found that this one is the best for me. And with my current Elegant Hubris, I get 80% decreased, 80% minion damage, 12% chance to block attack damage, 80% minion damage, and 12% curse, non-curse or effect. And I am, of course, using an Impossible Escape to be able to allocate these nodes without pathing to them. I'm using an Unending Hunger for Corrupted Blood immunity, as well as getting Soul Eater on my Spectres. I'm using a Storm Shroud combined with these Abyss Jewels, giving me 50% chance to avoid being shocked. I have 2 of them. That's a total of 100% avoid being shocked. With Storm Shroud, that gives us ailment immunity. And then of course, I have 2 Abyss Jewels with cast speed, energy shield, and lightning damage, and of course, reach. I'm of course also using Runegraft of the Fortress. Now, I also opted to take these minion block nodes, DK Ward, because this will cap the block chance of the minions, as well as making it so the minions will recover life whenever they block. If you don't have this, your Spectres can actually die. This will basically make your Spectres immortal against certain types of damage. Other than that, I will of course have the path of building in below so you can look more closely. We have a lot of spell block over here. 3% chance to maximum spell block. Which is at 78. We have 75, 78% block in this build. Other than that, the one that I've opted to use is a pretty standard +2 minion wand with minion damage, attack and cast speed, and the trigger craft. I decided to go for minions are aggressive on this wand. I don't know if you actually need it, but I do feel like because of these are like ranged specters, aggressive is actually really nice. Should be really nice to have. And I just have Desecrate Bone Offering in here. I'm using a Wraith Lord because with 4 Abyss Jewels, that will give us 4 to max specters. I'm using a Bone Ring with Energy Shield that has been reflected to give negative lightning resistance. And then we have attack and cast speed. It's not too important that the ring looks like this. The most important part of this is that your ring has minus lightning resistance. You can probably just buy one with only minus lightning resistance and nothing else that's useful or impacts your build as the bare minimum. The gloves are pretty standard. It's just any shield and resists. The boots, I have +2 level of raised Spectre Gems and +3 to max fire res, movement speed, and energy yield. The unaffected by shocked ground doesn't do anything. Don't worry about that mod. And then for the Aegis Aurora, I have Grant's level 23 discipline skill. This is to save me one gem socket, because that way I can run cast damage taken, molten shell. I'm also running clarity, just a level 1 clarity, because of my Watcher's Eye. Gives me non-channeling skills have -9 to total mana cost while effective by clarity. This is very important because it solves my issues with mana. This means I barely need any mana regen because this will make shield charge and convocation cost 0 mana. Other than that, I have reduced extra damage taken from critical strikes while affected by termination, combined with the 50% on my Dorianis as the corruption. This means that I don't take extra damage from crits, and then I have phasing while affected by haste, because I'm running haste, and permanent phasing feels pretty good. Now, over to Path of Building. I have also a budget POB. It's not really budget because you still need a mage blade. I expect the gear in this build to cost you probably about anywhere between 100 to 150 divines, plus the mage blood, of course. I have also forgot to mention that if you want better single target damage, you can use a Bottle of Faith as well. Besides that, the only thing I've done different here is I removed the minion damage on the convoking one. You can probably remove the aggressive as well. That will save you about 40 divines. It will be like 40 divines, 50 divines cheaper if you don't go for aggressive. Everything else is definitely very important to have. Only a single corrupt on the Rihanna's prototype. The gloves are basically the same. Should be pretty cheap. The boots, the most important here is just getting movement speed and +2 to raise Spectre. You don't actually need the +3 to max fire res to hit 90% fire res. Because we can actually hit maximum fire res by getting a +2 to aura gems corruption on Aegis Aurora. This does mean that we can't run Molten Shell in this setup, but it means that we can get enough levels to Pure the Fire, which will allow us to get to 90% fire res. All the rest, of course, is we get the 90% thanks to Aegis Aurora and the +1 on our gloves. The ring in here is just minus lightning resistance, nothing else. Eyes of the Great Wolf, once again, 100% lightning damage taken from hits as either fire or cold damage. And then the top mod can be physical damage reduction or global defenses. Global defense is better, but it's a lot more expensive. Additional physical damage reduction is a lot cheaper. And once again, the bare minimum for this build is going to be with a mage blood. I do not recommend playing this if you don't have a mage blood. So do keep that in mind. For our grafts, we are using the replicating ash graft, which automatically summons like glowing silhouettes that will walk up to the boss and place shocked ground. This will give you a 20% shock as long as you have the increased effect non-damaging ailments mod. You can get about anywhere between a 15 to 20% shock depending on if you have that mod or not. Then I'm of course using the Storming Ashcraft because red and light will give the minions, as long as they're standing in it, will give them lucky damage as well as a lot of flat lightning damage. So it's extremely good damage. Other than that, I will have a link to both POBs. This is the budget POB, and this is the high budget POB of my current character. Other than that, that is it for this video. I will have a showcase of a full map at the end of the video if you're interested in seeing the full map being cleared. Other than that, I am streaming daily on twitch.tv /meyourcheese. You can come in and say hi if you want. I will answer any questions if you have any questions. Otherwise, you can also leave your questions in the comments below and I will try and answer them. Other than that, I'll either see you in the stream or in the next video. Bye bye.
Death will never come.